Hello. Today I'm going to be showing you how to make this bracelet right here. It's a little bit close. There we go. This is my own original design, but I'm not 100% sure. But I do believe this is my own original design. And if you do, go ahead and just say, hey, I invented this. If you don't have a video, oh well. But I have two examples here. I have this one on the left and this one here on the right. And I'm going to be showing you how to make this. This is called the climbing tire track, simply because I have no idea what to call this at all. And it kind of looks like a tire. Yeah. But this is the climbing tire track, simply because these here in the middle look like they're climbing on top of each other, and the outside, it just makes it all look like a tire. And I have another example here that I just made, because I was trying to remember how to make this, because it's been like 2 months since I've done this. And yeah, so that's that. I'm going to now be showing you what you will need for, well, to make this bracelet. So what you will need to make this bracelet is your loom, and you will only need 4 pins on your loom in a diamond shape. So hold on, my loom's still facing the wrong way, that's why I'm confused. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, so in a diamond shape like this. And you can, it doesn't matter if you have a space in the bottom of your loom, because you can easily pull this bracelet out to the side. You will also need your hook. Any hook will work. I'm going to be using my Rainbow Loom hook, just a regular plastic hook, just because I always use my metal tip hook. And you will also need a clip, of course. Any clip will work, as long as it is for but for rubber bands. I have all 3 clips right here. They are the S, C, and O clips. Let me get my S clip. Here we go. Here is an S clip. It is obviously shaped like an S. Oh, keep dropping it. Here is a C clip. It is obviously shaped like a C. And here is an O clip. It is obviously shaped like an O. I'm going to be using an S clip for this tutorial, because that is what I usually use for making bracelets. So not only will you need all of those things there, but you will also need rubber bands. I would recommend using at least 2 different colors for when you make this bracelet. But for this tutorial, I'm going to be using 4 colors like I have in both of my examples. I used jelly turquoise and regular turquoise. I used orange and yellow, all in this bracelet here, or this little piece of a bracelet. And I used this neon green from Rainbow Loom, white, this teal turquoise, and purple in this little example here. And I'm going to be using the same colors as I did in this example for this tutorial. So I'll be using this example as a reference during this tutorial. So I'm using the neon green from Rainbow Loom, purple, this teal or turquoise, and white. And also I will be using this gray rubber band, which is from Rainbow Loom as well, like this neon green, for a cap band, so you can see it when I place it and do all that fun stuff with my loom. So now that you know what you're going to need, get your supplies and use the pause button if you need to get some, or to get it. And I will see you when you have done that. To begin creating your bracelet, you're going to choose any 4 pins on your loom, and I'm calling them pins now because that's what they're actually called. I'm going to be using these 4 pins, 1 on the left, 1 on the right, and 2 in the middle. That's actually required, and they have to be in a diamond / rhombus shape like this. So choose any 4 pins that are in this shape on your loom. And prepare to place your first rubber band, or in other words, your cap band. So when you go to place your cap band, you're going to twist this rubber band going across the bottom middle pin to the top middle pin. You're only going to be using two, so this would be the bottom and this would be the top. And you're going to pull the parts of the 8 from when you twisted the rubber band outwards to the left and outwards to the right. You can use your fingers or your hook, whatever works for you. And what you should get is this big single, just this big one twist here of an 8. So it looks kind of like an hourglass in a way. Once you have that, you can go ahead and get you're going to get one color that'll be on the left side and one color that'll be on the right side. Or maybe it's this way, I can't remember. But one will be on the left and one will be on the right. My first left color rubber band will be this neon green. And the left color is placed on these 2 middle pins and on this left pin. So it is basically like an arrow pointing outwards to the left. Then you will get your first right color rubber band. And my first right color rubber band is going to be purple. So to place this, you're going to put it going across these 2 middle pins and outwards to the right. So basically it's an arrow pointing outwards to the right. And once you do this, get your hook. Ugh, it's lighting. Whatever. Let me close my blinds real quick. And what you're going to do is with your hook, grab the bottom rubber band and pull it over all of the rubber bands above it. It's a little difficult on this pin, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And you should get this shape here once you do that. Now, what you're going to do is there are these rubber bands that are on the left side underneath these rubber bands that come from the right side. What you're going to do is with this middle pin, pull the rubber bands on the bottom, which should be coming from the left, and loom or hook them or whatever you wish to say over the pin and onto the rubber bands above it, which should be coming from the right. Once you do that, you're going to get a rubber band that will be on the left side, because there are not any rubber bands on these 2 middle pins that are coming from the left. So you will place another rubber band that will be for the left side. And the next color I'm using for the left is white. And to place the left rubber band, you place it going across these 2 middle pins and outwards to the left, like an arrow pointing outwards to the left. And you're now going to loom all the rubber bands that are below this. So this one out here on the left side, and these 2 here in the middle. Now when you loom the rubber bands on this pin, make sure you come from the outside and loom it over, because if you try to do it from the inside, it'll just pull the rubber band off your pin. So you're going to want to come in from the outside and pull this rubber band over the pin. And once you do that, you can push these rubber bands down. And now, because there are not any rubber bands coming from the right side anymore, you're going to place another rubber band that should be coming from the right. And the next color I'm using for the right side is this teal/turquoise/blue-green. And you're going to be placing it going on these 2 middle pins and on this right pin. And once you do that, you get your hook again and loom all the bottom rubber bands, or the rubber bands below this one, on top of it. So this one on the right, and these two here in the middle. And make sure you come from the outside for this top one and pull this over. Now, there is an obvious pattern here, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it is. So, whenever you place a rubber band on the left side, that means, on the left side, that means there are not any rubber bands on these two middle pins that come from the right, or the left. Sorry. And once you place that rubber band that's coming from the left, you loom all the rubber bands below it on top of it. And then, once you do that, that means that there are no longer any rubber bands coming from the right. So you place another rubber band that's coming from the right on these three pins here, and loom the rubber bands below them on top of it. And then the pattern redoes itself, pretty much. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you a few more times. And this bracelet is really one of my easiest bracelets to make. So I'm not going to really over-explain this like I usually do, or I tend to do. So I'm just going to go through this about 3 or 2 more times, the whole cycle of left and right. So as you can see, there are no longer any rubber bands coming from the left on these two middle pins. So I'm going to get a rubber band that I wish to have on the right, or not the right, the left side, and place it going across these two middle pins and outwards to the left. Then I will get my hook, loom in the rubber bands below it on all 3 pins, and then now there are no longer any rubber bands coming from the right side on these 2 middle pins, so I will get another rubber band that I wish to use for the right side, and I will stretch it going across these 2 middle pins and outwards to the right. Then, once I have that placed, I loom all of the rubber bands below this one I just placed on top of it. Now I'm going to go through this cycle again. I no longer have any rubber bands that are coming from the left on these 2 middle pins, so I will get another rubber band that will be going outwards to the left, placing it on these 2 middle pins and outwards to the left. And once I place that, I will get my hook and loom all the rubber bands below it on top of it. Make sure you do it on all 3 of these pins, 1, 2, 3. And now that I've done that, there are no longer any rubber bands on these 2 middle pins that are coming from the right. So now I will get another rubber band that I wish to put on the right side and place it going across these 2 middle pins and the right side. And once I place that, I will loom the bottom rubber bands on top of the one I just placed. And after a few of these processes, the bracelet should start to form. It just takes a little while, but one thing you can do is when it starts is push with your hook out the rubber bands out to the side and use your hook to kind of pull them. But it's a little difficult for me because I have a space in the bottom of my loom and it tends to go down there. And it's pretty difficult to pull down through the bottom of a rainbow loom, but you're going to continue this pattern. I'm going to show you one more time. So since I do not have any rubber bands coming from the left on these 2 middle pins, I will get another rubber band that I wish to have on the left side, place it on these 2 middle pins and the left pin, and loom all the rubber bands below it on top of it. Then once I do that, there are no longer any rubber bands on these 2 middle pins coming from the right, so that means I need to get a rubber band that I wish to have on the right side. There we go. And place it on these 2 middle pins and outwards to the right. And then I will get my hook and loom the rubber bands below it on top of it. So you probably already have gotten the pattern here. You're just going to continue this pattern until this bracelet is long enough for it to fit around your wrist, or whatever you wish to make it long enough for. It actually wouldn't make a bad backpack keychain type thing, but whatever you wish to make this for, or however long you wish to make it, continue this pattern until it's long enough for your loom. I'm actually going to cut this video until I get to that part because I'm using a different camera, as you probably have noticed, and the battery dies really, really fast. So I will see you when I have finished that. Also, when you are going to be, when this is extending, you can push it with your hook or pull it with your hook out to the side as it is forming. So I will see you once I have my bracelet finished. Alright, well, I am back and I have finished making my bracelet, and here's kind of what it should look like when, as you can see, I pushed it out to the side, so yeah, as you can see, that's obviously possible. And here's kind of what this bracelet looks like. You know, it's a bracelet. And what I'm now going to do is I'm going to show you how to finish this bracelet and put it on a clip and all that fun stuff. So as you can see, I ended my bracelet with the two middle pins having, the two middle pins having a rubber band that comes from the left. It actually does not matter which direction the rubber band is coming from. So if these two middle pins had a rubber band on it coming from the right, then you could still end your bracelet like that. But I just have the rubber bands like this just by coincidence, I guess. And to put a clip on them, you're going to need to put all the rubber bands on one pin. So you can choose whichever pin. I would recommend doing either the left pin or the right pin, and I'm going to do the right. So to do this, what you're going to do is go into each of the pins one at a time and grab the rubber bands on them, and there should only be one rubber band on each pin, and you're going to bring the rubber band with your hook onto the pin of your choice. So I recommend either the left or the right, like I said. And I would recommend doing the top and bottom middle pins before you do the other side. But anyway, now I'm going to go ahead and grab this bottom middle pin and bring it over to the right. And be extremely careful during this, because if you lose the rubber bands on the pins, it can mean it's the end of your bracelet, or, well, it's going to fall apart. And so, as you probably just saw, I used my fingers to kind of get this last rubber band onto this pin. And now I have all the rubber bands on my pin, and what I'm going to do now is stretch them going across any two pins on my loom, or I can just get my hook and pull them out the rubber bands a little bit so that it is easier to put the clip on. Or you can just go ahead and put the clip on, but I'm just going to go ahead and stretch these out so it's easier. And now, since I have the clip on these rubber bands, I can pull them off of the pin, and they should still be on my clip here. And now you're going to put the clip on the other end of your bracelet, and the other end of your bracelet is your cap band. And you can stretch the cap band across two pins because it should be able to do that. Mine is, at least. And what you're going to do is put the clip on that as well. Once you have that on there, you have your bracelet. So, thank you for watching. I hope you were able to make this bracelet successfully. I really like this bracelet. It's one of my favorite bracelets I've ever created. And I hope you like my new little background and my new camera, because I love my new camera, but it's just a little short-living camera, but still, it's super awesome compared to my 3DS. Yeah. Anyway, thank you for watching, like I said, and, well, bye!